Back on the Newsfeed PM. Thanks for staying on. Let's turn to the story now. The Amarhelane royal family has today named Yolisa Sigcau as the rightful heir to succeed King Zanozuko following his death. This follows as the kingdom is under immense scrutiny following a faction within the family appointing their own acting king, King Dumelani, which rather caused divisions. Now, the Premier of the Eastern Cape has since recognized acting King Dumelani from the AmaMpondo faction, while Amarhelane maintain their heir comes from the house of the previous king. Well, Liyema Vumisa is on the ground covering that story for us. Liyema, good to have you, and thank you for joining us this afternoon. What are we learning about this gathering today?
A very good afternoon to you, Thabo. Well, breaking news coming in from the Eastern Cape in this part of the town called Flagstaff. It has been an entire couple of years since the AmaMpondo kingdom has not heard or even heard a successor to the late King Zanozuko, who unfortunately fell, as they correctly mentioned here, in 2022. Rather, since then, there have been numerous attempts at trying to institute processes, even from provincial government, but those bore no fruit. But currently, as it stands, the provincial government couple of weeks ago had instituted and even gazetted an acting king from the other faction, that is the AmaMpondo, within the AmaMpondo kingdom. And then this part of the faction, which is the Amarhelane royal family, has in fact today appointed their own king, that is Isilo, that is Silo Sohlanga, Yolisa Sigcau, as the king of the AmaMpondo kingdom. Here to tell us more about that and perhaps as to whether the province will indeed be in support of that, I'm now joined by Prince Leslie, who is the spokesperson. A huge victory for the AmaMpondo kingdom, I suppose, today.
Thank you for the time. And I think for us, it is, I wouldn't call it a victory, but it is a matter of obligation that we're here today to observe, of course, decisions that have been taken by the family as soon as His Majesty King Zanozuko passed on in 2022. And these decisions culminated in an event at Ndimagu, the Great Place, which led to all the customary matters that relate to Ugochonga, or rather naming Ingumgani. Those were absolved customarily. And today, of course, we are here to welcome him at the ancestral home of King Amarhelane here at Heir Great Place.
Mm-hmm. And then perhaps just to, delve into the contentious issue around the appointment of the king. The days that were preluding this one today, there was an acting king that was instituted, that was even gazetted, which then went to the Mthatha High Court to interdict. Just enlighten us on that process.
Perhaps it's prudent at this point that I bring in counsel for the Amarhelane royal family, Mr. Klimbi, to step in and assist with answering this particular question.
Okay. Mr. Klimbi, you can jump in. I was just asking the Prince here about the Mthatha High Court matter in which the Amarhelane royal family sent an interdict, and then it was later struck off the roll. Perhaps what transpired there?
Oh, yes. Yesterday there was an application that was brought by a grouping calling itself AmaMpondo, AmaMpondo Royal Council, Royal Family, yes. Now, what they sought to do was to interdict the occasion that we are here about today. Among other things, the key allegation was that if this august gathering today continues, it's going to bring about chaos amongst the Mpondo kingdom, and it's going to bring about bloodshed, something that is obviously not substantiated. And they could not also be able to tell court and convince the court that in the event this august gathering takes place, they are not going to be afforded a substantial redress in the future. And on that basis then, our contention was that even if they are of the different view, then they still will be afforded an opportunity by court to address whatever they wish to address, which is contrary to what we are doing here today. Then on that basis, then they were not able to tell the court explicitly that they are not going to be afforded any redress in the future, which is a requirement, by the way, of an interdict. So on that basis, the court was of the view that they were not able to ground a necessary case for an interdict. And for that reason, it was struck off the roll with costs.
So then, as it stands, Prince Leslie, King Isilo Sohlanga Sikadakile, King Yolisa Sigcau, is he officially the king of the AmaMpondo kingdom? Does the government of this particular province support him?
I appreciate the question. I want to draw your attention, perhaps adding to what the council has said here, to three specific sequence of events. We were observing today a welcoming, which is a ceremony that is necessary. Prior to that, from the passing of His Majesty Zanozuko, there was a succession that was nominated of King Yolisa, which is today being really observed by AmaMpondo. The Constitutional Court in 2024 also pointed to the fact that he comes from King Zanozuko as an heir, and therefore someone from the House of Zanozuko should be nominated. So really, from our side, we've observed custom, and indeed we waited for the highest court in the country to make a determination, which it did, and then today we are proceeding. Hence I was saying earlier, it is not a victory, it is the process that we are proceeding with as a Sizwe AmaMpondo to usher in, and there'll be many such events up to coronation where we are welcoming the king officially to reign over AmaMpondo, Eastern Pondoland King.
And just lastly, did you consult the Amafaku faction?
The term faction I don't like, because this is part of our family and we respect them as such. However, remember, the Mdende Commission, which was instituted by Premier Mabuyane, and he decided to again abandon it, had stated that the Amarhelane royal family has a right to determine succession. So, as far as the Amafaku royal family, with all respect that is due, there was no need for us to consult them. They are a royal council as decided by Dr. Mdende in his findings, and therefore the royal family has met and is quite comfortable with the decision that it is taking. We are observing, I must say this again, the ruling of the Constitutional Court, and we are welcoming the son to the king that had passed, King Zanozuko's style. So there's no in-between or perhaps an association that we, by popularity, have decided on. This is his son and heir, and we're observing the custom, or rather the findings of the Constitutional Court.
All right, Prince Leslie, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, there you have it, Thabo. That is the spokesperson for the Amarhelane family, right in Flagstaff, really telling us that as a matter of principle, according to their stance, they believe that the apex court of South Africa, that is the Constitutional Court, in fact granted them this instruction, which then stated that a successor or an heir to, of course, the late King Zanozuko should in fact come from his house, which is contrary then to what the other faction, which is Amafaku faction, that have said that they are just merely following the law on their end. And right now I am joined by, in fact, one of the kings of Pondoland, a matter of fact, who has came here, to give their support to this king that is being instituted. Perhaps let's start here. What brought you here today?
I was invited by the Sigcau family. In fact, we are still one family, but I'm here because I was invited by them. So I came to support.
And then in terms of that support, King Damasa, perhaps you can enlighten us then, because as it stands, there are a lot of contentious issues around the appointment of King of AmaMpondo. How far have your consultations and even engagements that you've had with the Amarhelane royal family and as the AmaMpondo in general, how far have those gone?
Like I said, it's my first time today being here because it is not my duty to choose who's next as a king here in the Eastern Pondoland. But I came to support because it's been more than 2 or 3 years here without a king. So the more we wait, there will be more royal families. But the important thing here, the reason I came here, because the king who was king here, King Zanozuko, has got a son. and we're talking about his son here. So according to our tradition, a person who has to take over as a king is the son of the king.
Just to put it on record, King Damaso, so you're saying that your support here at Hewo Great Place is in fact equated to you approving of King Yolisa Sigcau as the king who should succeed King Zanozuko?
That's how I see it. I might be wrong, but that's how I see it, because I don't see anybody else who's the son of King Zanozuko Sigcau. So from my point of view, he should be the one who should take over. But it's not my final decision. It will depend on the family, if they agree or not. But
surely as a king, you can put in a word or two.
Like I said, from my point of view, he should be the king of the Eastern Pondoland. Some might say King Zanozuko had a daughter, because today the daughter can also can also take over. But it can be a problem in the coming future, because if a girl takes over, that means she can't get married, because if she gets married, she has to leave the throne, because according to our tradition, a married woman cannot be a king or chief. So what's the point of putting a girl if maybe she's got her boyfriend? That means if she's got a boyfriend, she can't be married to that boyfriend unless she wants to leave the throne. You see, this thing will take years and years.
All right, King, we've run out of time. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay.
Well, there you have it, Thabo, and of course the Newzroom Afrika viewers. This is breaking news coming in from the Eastern Cape. Like I said, King Yolisa Sigcau, the son of the now deceased King Zanozuko, has taken over the reins as the newly appointed, at least as far as the Amarhelane is concerned, king that will rule the AmaMpondo kingdom. And that's it from us. More news coming up after the break. Stay with us.